Hello, this is Carlos from the Church of Christ channel. Please subscribe. So today I want to do this Bible review. This is the complete word study New Testament by Spiro Zodhiates, bringing the original text to life. And if you need something that is a great New Testament that does word studies and is a good little study Bible for New Testament, this is a good scripture to get. Okay. Let me show you some of the features in here. Of course, what I study it for and all that. Okay. So, of course, here's your front cover. It does come King James Version. All right. What I did want to do is there's an explanation of the format, so if you need to know anything, then just come here, okay? Okay, I'm gonna talk about this here in a minute. So every chapter, every book, let's start there. Every book has a brief explanation and history of that particular book. Okay. Here's the text. Now there are a couple things that you'll note. You'll see numbers up here, and these are based on the Strongs. Okay. The Strong's Greek section for the New Testament. Okay. Also, there is this underline. So usually it's kind of a reference to Old Testament, and they kind of talk about that here. Okay. You also will see like, of course, these stars here, you'll see them here. And I think they had to do mostly with like the translation within Greek. You'll see these italics words, if you will. These weren't in the original Greek, but they added it there so that it kind of gives a complete thought, because technically the scrolls had a little bit of damage on it. So there's always this heading, and then it gives like a parallel scripture up here as well. Okay. Okay, so now the key. So every now and then you'll see these scriptures with the key, and that means that there's like a note down here. Sometimes it'll give you explanation on the notes. Sometimes it's a reference. So in this case, it's a reference to Colossians 1:15. Okay. So this is a very, like I said, good scripture to have. Let me go towards the back. See, this is more of an in-depth note here from this. Okay, First John, chapter 3:6. Okay, as you can see it here. Okay, now another thing I want to point out is the aid. So now we said that the scriptures here had like numbers on them in reference to the Strong's Greek. Okay. And then you see here there's aids to the New Testament. Okay. It gives definition to almost like a little mini Strong's in the back of here. Then it gives kind of a little breakdown of certain words and where they're found in the Bible. Okay. That's pretty much all I wanted. Oh, and then it kind of does have like just a simple Greek dictionary of the New Testament. Okay. But this is, like I said, this is a good scripture to get. Um, you know, I get my books kind of cheap from different thrift stores, but this is a good one if you want to enrich your New Testament study. Well, this is Carlos from the Church of Christ channel signing off.